Hi everyone, welcome back to Art Abilities. This is our final week, week 6, and that takes us to March 17th of 2022. So we are almost to spring. Very exciting. Let's take a look at our supplies. So we've got a bag that says week 6 on it. There's not much in here. We've got a black canvas board with plastic on it, so you have to take the plastic off. And we've got a little bag with some rocks and some glass pieces, some ceramics. So those are what was provided for the week. But now you can also use anything else that you have left over. So I have brought all of my supplies that are left over. I've got my paints, in addition to the other paints. So I've got my metallic and then the dark blue. I've got leftover tissue paper strips from week 1. Got one of my glitter pens, silver marker or metallic marker. I've got week 5 buttons and another glitter glue stick, little wooden stars. I've got a few of my glittery foam stickers left. And if you don't have those left, that's fine. So whatever you have left, bring it to the table. You'll definitely need your paintbrushes, your glue. I even have some construction paper left over from when we did our masks. And then additionally, you'll need something to cover your table, just like we've done pretty much every week. So whatever you've been using to cover your table, get that. Get a glass for water to clean your brushes, and then get a few paper towels. I usually, once I clean my brushes, I'll dab them on the paper towels and let them dry there. So that's what I use that. So grab your supplies. Again, make sure your clothes are covered or you're wearing something you don't mind getting paint on. And pause the video and come on back for step 1.
Gather your materials and prepare your space for painting. You can collect anything that you've used in previous weeks or anything you have laying around the house. Pause the video here and resume when you're ready.
Step 1. So unwrap your black canvas. So you might need help with that. Mine was wrapped pretty tight. You might need scissors. Yeah, if you need help, feel free to ask. So once that is unwrapped, what you're going to do is you're going to take a pencil or pen, and you're going to draw 1 or 2 lines on your canvas. They can be straight, they can be curvy. Here's what I did. So you're just sort of dividing up your painting in like a random way. So one line is curvy, one's kind of straight, a little curvy. So you've got 3 sections. And you don't have to think too hard about it. Just make 2 lines nice and just so you can see them. And then once you've done that, you're going to pick 2 colors. So if you did 2 lines, you're going to do 2 colors. If you did 1 line, you're going to do 1 color. So each section that I made is going to be painted a different color, but one will be left black. So choose your colors. Just make sure you leave one section black. So this right here is one section. This is one, and this is one. So I think I'm going to paint the outer 2 and leave the middle black. But I could just as easily leave this black and paint these two. Just make sure they're different colors. So paint them and let it dry. It might take one or two, maybe 2 to 3 coats of paint, and then allow it to dry before coming back for your next step.
Step 1. Draw 1 or 2 lines on your canvas. They can be straight or curvy. Paint 2 sections different colors, leaving 1 black. Allow to dry. Pause the video here to complete this step.
It's time for step 2. So now your paint should be dry, and we're going to play around with some of the other materials. So find your construction paper. I still have a couple colors. And find your tissue paper and your metallic marker. So I'm gonna move the camera so you can see what I'm doing. So, and you're gonna need your glue. So I painted this and that, and right now I'm just playing around with construction paper. So I have a few shapes cut out, little triangles, little strips, and I'm just playing around to see where I want them. So take the time to just set things on your canvas without gluing it and see what you like. So you can do different shapes here. You can tear the paper, or you can cut it with scissors so it's a nice straight line. Let's see. So just playing around. And then with the silver marker, you can just make little accents with this. So I can do polka dots. I can draw hearts. I can trace the line that I made with my paint using the silver marker. But whatever you're gonna do, just play around first and then glue it. So once I figure out what I like with this material, so you can even use these, if you have the flat wooden stars or different shapes, you can use those. But I'm gonna, don't touch the rocks yet. So don't use these in this step. So any of the rocks or thicker materials, we're gonna wait for the next step. So for now, just do construction paper, tissue paper, and any metallic pen stuff. So figure out your pattern and glue it down and then let it dry, then come back for the next step.
Step 2. Using leftover tissue paper, construction paper, and silver marker, add decorations to your canvas. Play around with their placement before you glue anything down. Allow to dry. Pause the video here to complete this step.
It's time for step 3. So by now we have our construction paper and tissue paper down. It's glued and it's mostly dry. And now we're going to get out our 3D materials. So the bag with the big glass cube, the rocks, and anything else. There's little square cubes, there's buttons. So I'm going to move the camera so you can see what I'm doing here. So these are my tissue paper. I put some wooden stars down. I glued down the triangles, and then I drew a little bit with that silver marker. I outlined that other line. And now I'm taking my 3D materials like the glass cube and I'm just kind of playing again. So these rocks over here are not glued down. I'm just playing so you can get a closer look here. And this is upside down, but it doesn't really matter because it's abstract, so there isn't a right way. So find your little your little cubes and just play around with where you'd want to put them. You can even dump out your baggie of supplies here and just kind of play around with where you want to put things. You don't have to use everything, you don't have to use many of them. Just exploring. There you go. So on my star, I put 4 of those little cubes. And then over here, I'm just placing the rocks with a little space in between them. So there isn't a wrong way to do it. Just play around, and once you feel like you like it, pick up one thing at a time and glue it down. So you're going to need a good amount of glue for these things. So use a good amount of glue and then let it dry for maybe half an hour, just so that it's not moving anymore. And then come back for the next step.
Step 3. Add 3D materials. Stones, gems, ceramic cubes, whatever you'd like. Play around with their placement before you glue them down. Allow to dry after gluing. Pause the video here to complete this step.
Now we're on to step 4. So you have all of your 3D materials glued down, and it should be mostly dry. So I'll show you mine. And I'm going to turn it around so you can see it here. Okay. So we've got the rocks glued down. I put little accents, those little square cubes, my big glass thing there, and then a few more cubes there. So the final step, we're going to grab one of our glitter glue sticks, and so you should have 2 different colors, and they'll be different than the ones I have. And you don't have to use them, but if you want to, you can use them to add accents. So I might just use this blue one because it blends in with the blue here, and I might just trace some glitter glue around the line here, or I might do it around the rocks. Oops, still wet. I might trace it around some of these triangle shapes. You could dot it on top of some of these things you've added. And you can use both colors. You can use one color. And it's really up to you what you want to do with this. So these will be the final touches we do. So adding these, and if you want to go back in with a little more paint somewhere, or with more of that metallic marker, you can do that now. But just know that it's up to you to decide when it feels done, okay? And there's no wrong way to do this. So just take your time and let the glue dry so that when you move stuff around, things won't move from where you want them. All right, so do this step if you choose to, and then let it dry, and then come back for the last step.
Step 4. Add finishing touches. Use glitter pens if you want. Feel free to use any of your materials at this point to finish your work. Allow it to dry before moving it. Pause the video here if you'd like to complete this step.
Our final step, once everything is dry, is to take a photo of it and email it to Reach for Resources. We'd love to see your finished project. I can't pick mine up to show you, but I will put a picture of it after the video so you can see. But they should all look very different from each other, and I'm really excited to see your projects. As far as the rest of your materials, you can now use them however you wish. You've got lots of paints and leftover goodies, So feel free to use them and create some cool stuff. You can always send pictures of whatever you make to us. We're happy to see it. Yeah, this was a good session, you guys. I'm so glad you could join me for 6 weeks of art and creating and fun. And I hope to see you at the next Artability session. We're going to be doing it in person starting in April. So hopefully I'll see you there. Otherwise, we'll probably do this online again sometime. So keep your eyes peeled for the next session that's online. All right, you guys, enjoy your spring, and I hope to see you again. And keep creating.
Take a photo of your finished project and share it with us. We need some content for a virtual art showcase that we'll create a video for and send out this spring. Now that we're done, you're free to use your art supplies however you wish. Thanks for a great session. We hope to see you for the next Artability session in April and May in person at Eisenhower Community Center. We only have a couple spaces left, so if you haven't registered yet, take care of that soon. Thanks so much. We'll see you soon.